Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're heading for the hills, literally, with Elevation, the 2024 post-apocalyptic thriller that asks a simple question. What if monsters wouldn't chase you above 8,000 feet? Directed by George Nolfi, who you might know from the Adjustment Bureau, and starring Anthony Mackie, Morena Baccarin, and Maddie Hasson, this $18 million indie creature feature arrived in theaters with pretty modest expectations, and honestly, quietly became a streaming phenomenon months later. Whether you're a fan of survival thrillers, or just curious how a film can make the Colorado Rockies look both gorgeous and terrifying, this video will break down the plot, the surprisingly emotional character work, and the behind-the-scenes details that brought these bulletproof monsters to life. Stick around to the end for my final verdict. Does Elevation reach new heights, or should it have stayed below the safety line? Will is introduced in the Front Range of Colorado, 3 years after mysterious apex predators called reapers emerged from sinkholes and exterminated 95% of humanity. From the first scene, we get a sense of his personality. He's a gruff single father, haunted by his wife Tara's death during an expedition with scientist Nina to discover the creature's weaknesses. Alongside him is his young son Hunter, played by Danny Boyd Jr., who suffers from a lung disease requiring oxygen filters, and Nina, that's Morena Baccarin, a physicist who carries both grief and the weight of unfinished research. The film quickly establishes its unique stakes through its central rule. For unknown reasons, the Reapers won't venture above 8,000 feet in elevation. Mountain communities like Lost Gulch Refuge have survived, but isolation is really taking its toll. Neighboring settlements conserve electricity by turning off radios and communicating with flags, leaving Hunter frustrated and desperate for human connection. The inciting incident hits when Will realizes he's running dangerously low on oxygen filters for Hunter. Despite Nina's warnings, he convinces her to join a journey to Boulder for supplies, a trek that means descending below the safety line into Reaper territory. Will's friend Katie, played by Maddie Hasson, insists on joining, and the trio ventures down the Elba Fire Road towards certain danger. By the end of this introduction, we already understand the impossible situation: 3 people, 1 dying boy, and a world where survival depends on altitude. The relationships in Elevation form a compelling triangle of grief, determination, and, generational hope. Will's interactions with Nina reveal both tension and this sort of unspoken understanding. He blames her and himself for Tara's death during that first expedition, and honestly, their conversations crackle with survivor's guilt. Yet they really need each other. Will provides the practical survival skills, while Nina offers scientific insight and a compass device she invented that detects reapers through their bioelectromagnetic pulses. Katie serves as the film's emotional wildcard. Maddie Hasson brings, this rebellious zeal rooted in a belief that humanity can be back on top of the food chain. She really represents a younger generation that's just unwilling to simply survive. They want to fight back. There's this brief scene where Katie asks, "How do we take our place back?" And it, unnervingly frames humanity's return as a kind of territorial reclamation. Supporting characters like Hunter and Tara, who we see in flashbacks, really help anchor the stakes. Hunter in particular embodies what critic Zachary Lee called a younger generation, who has seen the people before them only exist in survival mode. One fascinating aspect here is how Nina's gradual revelation that she also lost her family — she was at work when the Reapers attacked — shapes her willingness to risk everything for this mission. These dynamics, honestly, transform what could be just a creature feature into something way more intimate. As the plot unfolds, Will, Nina, and Katie face escalating challenges across the abandoned Colorado landscape. Key event 1 is their encounter at the former ski area. Spotted by a Reaper, the trio barely escapes when Will activates the ski lift's backup generators, allowing them to rise above the safety line just in time. This whole sequence really establishes the creature's relentless nature and, the constant threat of elevation. Then Key Event 2 delivers the film's most devastating moment, the mining tunnel sequence. Will knows these tunnels from his mining days, but the lower levels dip below the safety line, and Nina's compass just won't function underground. As they navigate the darkness, they discover the upper exit welded shut, a cruel remnant of the initial invasion. A Reaper attacks, and Katie is dragged to her death by its tendrils. Nina and Will barely escape, losing a companion and gaining a grim understanding of what they're up against. The filmmakers use pacing masterfully here. Cinematographer Shelley Johnson's warm framing of the Colorado Alpines creates a, disarmingly comforting contrast with the violence. Long, sweeping drone shots emphasize how small humans are against both the creatures and the landscape, running in open space with nowhere to hide. Quick cuts during attacks, lingering close-ups on grief-stricken faces, and those breathtaking aerial shots make every moment count. Nina, undeterred, hypothesizes that the Reaper's impenetrable scales use magnetic defense mechanisms. If bullets are laced with magnesium, or eventually cobalt, they might penetrate and cause internal combustion. The mission shifts from mere survival to scientific revenge. Elevation isn't just about running from monsters. It explores surprisingly resonant themes beneath its B-movie surface. One of the most prominent is surviving versus living. Will has spent 3 years in damage control mode, keeping Hunter alive but forgetting to let him experience the world. Hunter's quiet rebellion, venturing just beyond the safety line to see other people, insisting "I just wanted to see other people," speaks to a generation unwilling to exist in perpetual fear. Critic Zachary Lee noted that Hunter and Katie represent those who fight to taste and see beauty even despite the world's horrors. Their battle is one of the soul. Another theme, the cost of scientific progress and human ingenuity, emerges through Nina's arc. She's a physicist who lost everything because she was at work when the Reapers came. Her quest to weaponize knowledge becomes both revenge and redemption, proving that understanding can defeat what brute force cannot. The cinematography by Shelley Johnson further enhances these ideas. The warm, almost postcard-perfect images of the Rocky Mountains create a jarring contrast with the horror unfolding within them. This visual dissonance reinforces the theme that beauty and danger coexist, that the apocalypse can be gorgeous from a distance. For instance, the abandoned ski lodge where they rest becomes a sanctuary precisely because it sits above 8,000 feet, yet its emptiness reminds them of everything lost. These layers make the film more than just entertainment. They invite viewers to ask whether mere survival is enough, and what we're willing to risk to truly live again. Some fascinating details behind elevation make the experience even richer. The film was shot in Colorado beginning November 2022, with locations including Gold Hill, Boulder, and Copper Mountain Resort. The Timberline lift at Copper Mountain, featured prominently, sits above 8,000 feet, perfect for the film's premise, and was a 4-person lift during filming, replaced with a 6-person lift by release. Principal photography wrapped by late March 2023, with the cast and crew enduring Colorado winter conditions to capture those stunning alpine visuals. The $18 million budget went largely toward practical effects and location work, with CGI reserved for the Reaper designs, creatures critics compared to the mimics from Edge of Tomorrow and the White Spikes from the Tomorrow War. So, here's some fun trivia for you. There's actually a mid-credits scene where Nina and Will are watching as 3 greenish meteorites enter orbit, hinting at a much bigger threat to come. Oh, and Anthony Mackie didn't just star in the film, he also served as a producer, which really shows his growing influence behind the scenes. Now, for a little goof that eagle-eyed viewers might catch, when Nina first tries to make the magic bullet, she actually loads the round into the magazine backwards, and then somehow manages to fire it without chambering. These little details, both intentional and accidental, honestly give us a much deeper appreciation for the craftsmanship and ambition behind this modest production. As the story reaches its tense climax, Will and Nina split paths. He wants to return to Hunter. She insists on reaching her former lab at the United States Department of Energy, to perfect the cobalt-laced bullets. Will leaves in a pickup truck, but his tires pop, forcing him to flee on foot toward the safety line with multiple Reapers in pursuit. The key moment arrives as Will is cornered just short of 8,000 feet, and Nina arrives in the nick of time. Her experiment succeeded. She killed a Reaper that broke into her lab, proving the cobalt bullets work. She dispatches the pursuing creatures with precise shots, causing them to explode from internal combustion. Together they realize the truth. The Reapers aren't biological at all, but machines built with advanced alien technology. The resolution is hopeful but cautious. They return to Lost Gulch, where Will reunites with Hunter. Nina raises a pirate flag, a signal to nearby communities that a Reaper has been killed. Radios crackle back to life as settlements prepare to fight back. The final scene, post-credits, shows Nina at a telescope with Will beside her, watching 3 greenish meteorites enter orbit. The war, it seems, is just beginning. The filmmakers intended these final moments to leave a lasting impression. Survival was only the first battle. In conclusion, Elevation delivers exactly what a solid creature feature should: tense action, gorgeous scenery, and just enough emotional depth to make you care who lives. It's derivative. Critics called it a Quiet Place copycat without apology, but it executes its premise with efficiency and heart. Anthony Mackie grounds the film, Morena Baccarin brings scientific gravitas, and Maddie Hasson provides the rebellious spark. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a comment with your thoughts. Did Elevation earn its place among post-apocalyptic thrillers? And what do you think those meteorites mean for a potential sequel? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more movie reviews, deep dives, and behind-the-scenes insights. Thanks for watching, and maybe check your altitude.